Hey there, amazing listeners and viewers. Welcome back to another episode of English Tales, where we dive into the ups, downs, and all-around adventures of everyday life. Today, we're talking about a topic that every one of us has experienced or is currently going through: traveling. I've invited my friend, my colleague, Katy, along to join me for a natural, relaxed conversation about a topic that friends often discuss together.
Travel.
Travel. And travel is something that Katy is a bit of an expert on. A bit of an expert?
Bit of an expert, I would say that.
Katy has been traveling around the world for the last 7 years. 7 years?
7 years. I left Australia 7 years ago. Yeah.
The world has changed since.
So much. Absolutely.
And right now we are in Turkey, in Istanbul. In fact, let's start by talking about how many countries you have actually visited now.
It's so hard to say, but I did count them the other day and it was up to 37. Yeah, 37 countries.
37 countries. I wonder if any of you have been traveling as much as Katy has. Maybe you've been to 37. Maybe you've been to more, and you could let us know down in the comments. How many have you been to? Which one has been your favorite?
For me, it turns out the places that steal my heart are the places I've spent the most time in, which says something about my personality, that I really like to get to know places as I travel. So I spent the most time in Mexico, near Mexico City, and it's a fabulous place. I highly recommend going there. Yeah.
So I can see why this type of travel is so appealing. Being able to live and immerse yourself in different places and different experiences with different people.
When I look back to 7 years ago, I remember the moment where we were saying let's leave Melbourne, where we lived, and I was saying I really want to travel and work, like I really want to do that. Let's make it happen. And we were looking at the map. Where do we want to go? And it kind of turned into let's go all the way around, and one of the biggest, unique things about this is we're doing it slowly. As in slow travel, which means no flights. I fly sometimes. It's a secret, but Steve, my partner, he is doing the whole world without flying and
circumnavigating the entire world. Yeah. Without catching a flight. Yeah. So what are the means of traffic?
Yeah, so it takes ages, so we started by taking a camper van to Perth. And
that's where I live. Then he took a boat to Singapore, and then slow travel. Buses, trains, everything is actually quite accessible with this public transport. The biggest part is the oceans, and I've done one ocean. I did a cruise from New York to Southampton, but Garth has gone across the Pacific on a freighter ship, which is it's a transport company. Like a cargo ship.
A cargo ship, and you have to pay for it. You can't just.
Is it comfortable?
Yeah, it looked really comfortable. He got his own room. He got meals every day. It's like your hotel, your room and your board and your travel. All of it, inclusive. And he did it. He got from Vietnam all the way to California, and it took 21 days. Amazing.
Slow travel.
Slow travel.
That's like going back in time to the way that our grandparents used to, from Australia, catch the ship back to England and to visit family and stay for long periods of time.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive and kind of unique, because the rest of us, we travel in an instant. We try and get there fast so that we can spend as much time as possible there while we've got our time off work. We have such limited time.
Yeah.
That I guess it's a luxury.
It is a luxury.
To be able to move at that pace, and working online and having the flexibility in your work also helps.
Absolutely.
To make that happen.
We have spent a year in some places, like a year in Vietnam teaching, 2 years in Mexico teaching. So you have long spells, but as soon as we had the opportunity to switch completely online, as teachers, all of a sudden that door was opened and we saw this possibility of let's do it. Let's actually be that digital nomad, and let's go from place to place to place.
We have a routine within our crazy world. Tuesday's travel day. So on Tuesday, you pack your bags and you take a train or a bus and you go to the next place. And it's funny because in that routine you have a normalcy and you get used to it. It sounds so abnormal to me. Like the idea of packing up everything. I have so many questions for Katy, because the idea of packing up your bag every week and moving to a new place.
Yes.
Catching a bus, catching a train, catching a ferry.
Yeah, lots of ferries.
To the next destination. Setting up, finding where to get ingredients to cook, being able to locate yourself and work out where to go, what to do, learn new languages.
Katy, yeah.
I think it takes a certain type of person to be able to function in this way and also to be able to really enjoy it and embrace it.
Yeah.
What do you think are the characteristics of someone who travels like you do? Lives this nomadic lifestyle, moving from place to place and taking your things with you.
Yeah, so I have learned a lot in 7 years, and you see your skills develop. You see your ability to be patient increase. You have to be open-minded. You have to be flexible and a little bit resilient because plans change like at the drop of a hat. We've had so many moments where we planned to go to this country and then because of pandemic, anything that happens internationally, there's always something that you can't plan for and you have to be okay to say that won't work. Let's do this. Let's change it.
So that sort of resiliency, patience, flexibility and curiosity, because why do this to yourself if you don't? If you're not curious and the benefits are that you're trying new food, you're learning about the world, you're seeing beautiful places, picking up history, going to museums, all the things that we normally do as tourists. You're doing this every week and a curious mind is essential, I think, for this, because that is the true benefit compared to all the inconvenient aspects of this lifestyle. I feel like in these situations, where things don't go right or you've got to change your plans, I feel like I would become quite frazzled, and anxious, and I think that that's something that you have to build resilience in to be able to deal with those different situations.
Yeah, and it is helpful if you have a partner with you, like someone who you can rely on, who can help you in those moments. For example, I just flew to Turkey to be here at this meetup and my partner is not doing that because he doesn't fly, and I was frazzled because it's the first. It's a solo trip and solo travel's different to traveling with your travel buddy, but you rely on each other to help each other out of tight spots, but you learn how to just take a breath, problem solve, look around, say okay, what can I do to fix this situation, and you do get better at it and you say yeah. Of course, you'll have bad days, good days, just like any day. Any normal life is full of ups and downs, too.
So Katy, what do you miss most about a location-stable lifestyle? Just staying in the same place?
Yeah, everyone asks me, where do you live?
That's a good question. Where?
And so someone once asked me, okay, where do you get your mail delivered to? And so I would say in my hometown in California where my parents live. That's where all my bank statements go. All of that. That's where I send all my souvenirs that I buy. Every 6 months I'll send a package to California. Say, can you keep this for me? Yeah. So I miss nesting. I wish I could buy that. I want that for my house. What house? So we have chosen, in terms of a lifestyle, we have chosen travel over stability. Stability is a home. It's friendships. It's predictability, and that's something that we talk about a lot. That one day when we have a home we will do this. The grass is always greener on the other side. Everyone says you're so lucky, and I say, but you have a lovely home full of things, and
you have dinner parties with your friends.
Yeah, dinner parties, and so I miss obviously my friends and community and just having a place to put things.
I imagine that traveling around, sending things home because you can't carry things constantly with you. What are the things that you carry with you? What are the essentials? Something that you just could not live without?
It's funny because I think about this a lot as I'm carrying my suitcase, and I can give some general tips that I can stand by. So first of all, the essentials. Practical shoes. I usually only have one pair of shoes, maybe two, and it's seasonal, so in the winter. In the spring and autumn, I might have my really good boots and I will wear them out until they are full of holes, and then I get sandals. Lovely walking sandals that you can have in the summer. I only have enough clothes so that I can do laundry 1 time per week. 1 load of washing per week, and that's enough, so a few dresses. Socks. The bare minimum, so I would say you have to be a little bit low maintenance about what you wear.
And I guess as well, you're traveling and going through different seasons, different climates, different requirements. How do you manage that?
Yes.
Are you continually adding to your pile of stuff?
Acquiring and purging, so I'm, as we say in the United States, a thrifter. I don't know what you, op shopper?
Op shopper, yeah.
Yeah, so someone who goes to second-hand stores. I love it. So it's a hobby of mine, so I will buy a dress. Get rid of a dress. Buy some jeans. Get rid of this. So it's like a circle of my wardrobe, and it's affordable, so you don't have to invest a lot in a high-quality pricey item.
So right now we've just come out of summer. It's really still very hot here.
Yeah.
In Istanbul, as you start getting towards November, December, you'll probably purge?
Yeah.
I like that word. Purge a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And find a good jacket. Good jackets and warmer things.
But apart from the essentials, I also have luxury items. So what I mean by that is, for example, I carry a little satchel of small perfume bottles, so I have 5 different, what would you call them, aromas?
Fragrance?
Fragrances. Yeah, I have 5 different fragrances to choose from. They're so small. They pack well. I carry earrings. Garth carries a pocket square.
What's that?
It's just like
a handkerchief?
Yeah, that you can fold up and put in your pocket so you look fancy. So these are just the small luxury items that pack well and make you feel fancy.
So if you have the opportunity to go to the opera.
Yeah, which I have done.
Or do something like that. You've got a few of these little
fancy items.
Fancy items. Luxuries.
It does make you feel like you're not just backpacking. You know, you need to feel normal.
Would you say that would you describe the way that you travel now as backpacking?
No, backpacking is traveling light. Being mobile. We are mobile. I do travel lightly, but you would be so surprised if you opened my suitcase, because what you will find are some creature comforts that nobody in their right mind would travel with.
What's in there?
Yeah, so if you were to open the suitcase, you would find a small cooking pot and a plastic box full of spices.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because home cooking is quite challenging when you are traveling so frequently, moving from place to place, getting ingredients.
Yeah.
Getting the things that you're familiar with.
Or just because when you buy spices, they're expensive, and if you go from place to place, you're always buying the same thing again and again.
So is that the essential item that you would not travel without, or is there something else?
That for me, as my current lifestyle, I think it is.
So we're in Turkey now. Where are you off to next?
In about a week I will take an overnight train from Istanbul to Bulgaria. I'll reunite with Garth there, and then from there up to Poland, and towards the beginning of next year, January, we're going to start heading towards Asia, east, to connect the dots, so to speak. So I'm almost anxious about completing the end of the journey, because then I have to decide, where's home? I don't know. Everywhere is home.
Where am I gonna settle down?
Yeah, and that's the big question of the year, I think.
What kind of advice do you have for anyone who is thinking about this nomadic lifestyle? If anyone's been watching and they're like, wow, how do I do this? I'm so excited about this. What do I need to do to prepare or to start thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want this nomadic lifestyle and you're working, of course, there's the practical things like always have data on your phone so that you have an internet connection wherever you are. I recommend going to Airbnbs because you have, real homes you can be in. If you like to share a space, it's always really nice to actually live in a room with a local host. It's a nice warm home feeling. For me, going from place to place on a weekly basis. For me, my favorite stay is 2 weeks at a time. I think that's enough to relax. Enjoy where you are. Explore. Of course, do your research beforehand, because there's always visas, border checks, pandemics, all these things that can get in the way, and you have to be prepared for so.
I can't quite tell if I'm half of me is a little bit envious and half of me is a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
By the pace of traveling and moving. I wonder what you guys all think about Katy's lifestyle and whether or not it's something you'd be interested in doing if you could make it happen. Like you say, it's something that you have to create space for in your life, in work life, in family life. But lots of people do it, and people who do travel a lot talk about how incredible that experience is in meeting different people, different perspectives, understanding different cultures in different parts of the world. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Katy, thank you so much for joining me and for having this interesting discussion with me. Always curious to hear about different lifestyles and different perspectives, and it's certainly been interesting chatting with you today.
You're welcome, Emma.
Thanks for tuning in to English Tales. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next episode.